What's up, football fans, and welcome to NFL Week 2 review on Tim Reynolds Show, as I'm reviewing the second week of the 2024 season, and we kick it off with Thursday Night Football as the Buffalo Bills took on the Miami Dolphins, and we would see Buffalo dominate this matchup as their starting running back James Cook would have 3 touchdowns on the day as the Buffalo Bills were able to get the victory 31-10 over the Miami Dolphins after the Dolphins offense struggled with starting quarterback Tua Tagovailoa throwing 3 interceptions in this game. But we'd also see some sad news as Tua would suffer a concussion injury in the second half that would knock him out of this game. And now we know the Miami Dolphins have put their starting quarterback Tua on injured reserve, which means he's going to miss the next 4 games for this Miami Dolphins squad. A tough break for the Dolphins after this tough loss. And then next up, guys, for the Sunday slate, we got my Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Detroit Lions in Detroit. And man, did we have one heck of a game in this one, folks, as we would see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get the upset victory over the Detroit Lions 20-16 as they upset Detroit in Detroit after Detroit beat them twice last season, including in the playoffs in the divisional round, as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield get a little bit of revenge after this upset victory. But it was the defense that really stood out as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense was able to stifle Jared Goff and that Detroit Lions offense, forcing Goff to throw 2 interceptions in this game despite for throwing over 300 yards to help Tampa Bay Buccaneers get the upset victory. And then next up, guys, we have the Cleveland Browns taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And guys, in this particular matchup, it would be pretty close with both defenses really battling it out and helping their teams along the way, as we would see the Cleveland Browns be able to get their first victory of the season as they upset the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville in this one. A bit of a surprise to a lot of the experts, where we thought Jacksonville would go ahead and make a statement after losing and coming up short just barely against the Miami Dolphins last week, but that would not be the case as Cleveland went ahead and dominated like they do on the defensive side of the ball. And then next up, guys, was the big shocker of the weekend, as we seen the New Orleans Saints taking on the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas in Jerry World. And man, did the Saints show up to play as their offense came out exploding and tearing up the Dallas defense all over the place all game long, as the New Orleans Saints were able to get the victory in this one 44-19 over the Dallas Cowboys, who struggled on defense this whole entire game, and the New Orleans Saints were able to dominate this matchup. And man, we see our next matchup of the weekend as the Indianapolis Colts were taking on the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay. This after we found out that their starting quarterback for the Packers, Jordan Love, would be out of this game after suffering an injury in last Friday's matchup against the Eagles in Brazil. And in this matchup, we would see backup quarterback Malik Willis for the Green Bay Packers help matriculate the ball down the field and give it off and hand it off to running back Josh Jacobs, who had 32 carries for 151 yards in this matchup. I mean, the Colts knew that the Packers were going to come into this game handing the ball off and really focusing on that part of their offense with Jordan Love being out. And the Indianapolis Colts, even though knowing that, were not able to stop the running game at all for the Packers, as they don't get the victory in this one, as the Packers win 16-10 over the Indianapolis Colts. And as far as the offense for the Colts, man, Anthony Richardson struggled a little bit again, throwing 3 interceptions in this matchup, 3 costly turnovers for the Colts offense. And then next up, guys, we have the New York Jets taking on the Tennessee Titans, and we had a really good back and forth game in this one, but we would see the Tennessee Titans really cost themselves this matchup again with costly turnovers in this particular game. And we'd also see Aaron Rodgers do his thing as he was able to get the victory for the New York Jets, their first victory of the year, 24-17 over the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. And then next, guys, we got another big upset as the Minnesota Vikings were hosting the San Francisco 49ers in this Week 2 matchup. And man, did the Vikings come to play as they balled out with their new starting quarterback, Sam Darnold, really stealing the show, throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson, who had 4 catches for 133 yards and a big touchdown in this one, as the Minnesota Vikings were able to upset the San Francisco 49ers 23-17 to get the victory in Week 2. And the Minnesota Vikings now move to 2-0 on the season. And despite Brock Purdy having over 300 yards passing and Shaq Mason having another 100-yard rushing game, the Vikings were still able to get the victory. And then moving on to our next matchup, we have the Seattle Seahawks taking on the New England Patriots, and the New England Patriots would really play this team tough. After going down in the first half, they were able to come back in the fourth quarter to tie it up and lead to overtime, but unfortunately the Seattle Seahawks were able to take care of the New England Patriots behind Geno Smith's 327 yards passing and a touchdown, as the Seattle Seahawks get the victory over the New England Patriots 23-20 in overtime. And then our next matchup, guys, we have the New York Giants taking on the Washington Commanders. And this one was a bit boring, guys, to be honest with you, as we've seen a bunch of field goals from one team who was able to get the victory. And that's the Washington Commanders, as they were able to get their first win of the 2024 season over the New York Giants after Bijan Robinson there, or Robinson Jr., I should say, had 17 carries for 133 yards in this matchup, even though Malik Neighbors balled out for the Giants, 10 receptions for 127 yards and a touchdown. It would not be enough to help them get the victory. And then our next matchup, guys, we have the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Carolina Panthers. And boy, Panthers fans, what a struggle, as the Panthers were only able to get 3 points in this whole entire game, as the Chargers were able to get the victory pretty easily, 26-3 over the Carolina Panthers, and the Chargers now moved to 2-0 on the season. And J.K. Dobbins had himself another badass game in this one, 17 carries for 131 yards and a touchdown in this matchup. And then next, guys, up on the slate, we had the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Baltimore Ravens. And we would see a really, really tough game in this one for the Raiders and giving the Baltimore all they could handle. But Baltimore would have a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, but that would be given up as the Las Vegas Raiders were able to get the upset victory over the Baltimore Ravens in the Baltimore's home opener of all in week 2. Wow, is Gardner Minshew able to lead these guys on a last-second drive to be able to get the game-winning field goal at the end of it, and Davante Adams really helped out with 9 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown in this matchup to help the Raiders get the 26-23 victory over the Baltimore Ravens. And the next matchup, we have the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Arizona Cardinals, and the Cardinals were ball out, man, as we have another team scoring over 40 points as the Cardinals here, Arizona Cardinals, get the victory 41-10 over the Rams. I can't even talk. Oh my gosh, this was so surprising. As we've seen all guys on the offense there for the Cardinals ball out. Kyler Murray had 266 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. We've seen James Conner have 21 carries for 122 yards and a touchdown. And Marvin Harrison Jr., 4 catches, 130 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the day. What a game for this Arizona Cardinals offense. And tough break for this Los Angeles Rams team, who is just depleted by injuries right now at this moment as they move to 0-2 on the season. And then coming up to our next game, guys, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Broncos in Denver. And man, we wouldn't see a whole lot of highlights in this game as Denver kind of kept it close, but the Pittsburgh Steelers were able to get the victory in this one, 13-6 over the Denver Broncos. Rookie quarterback Bo Nix for Denver struggled again, throwing 2 interceptions in this matchup, and you hope to see some improvement from the rookie quarterback going forward for this Denver Broncos team, who is now 0-2 on the season and face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next week. But this Pittsburgh Steelers team is now 2-0 with their starting quarterback Justin Fields really helping out the offense and keeping them in games as the defense really shuts people down. And then next up, guys, we have the highlight game of the weekend as we see the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. And man, what a game, as we would have to see the Kansas City Chiefs do what they do and Patrick Mahomes do what he does, coming up clutch in the end as they were able to get the victory on a last-second field goal from Harrison Buckner as the Kansas City Chiefs were able to win 26-25 in this matchup. Now, there was a little bit of controversy at the end with the refs and a flag, but hey, you'll have to see the highlight video to see what exactly happened. But hey, the Bengals had plenty of opportunities in this game to win, but they weren't able to take advantage of them. Even though Joe Burrow had 258 yards and 2 passing TDs in this matchup, it would not be enough as Patrick Mahomes does what Patrick Mahomes does and gets the victory on the last drive of the game. And we would see, guys, after that game-winning field goal for the Chiefs, we would see the next slate, which would be our Sunday night matchup, as we would see the Chicago Bears traveling to take on the Houston Texans in their home opener, and the Texans showed up to play, especially on defense, making things hard for the rookie quarterback Caleb Williams from the Chicago Bears offense all game long. And of course, CJ Stroud does his thing with this Texans offense as they were able to get the victory in this one, 19-13 over the Chicago Bears. Now, you got to give the Bears a little bit of credit. They had a chance at the very end of the game to sort of tie it or get the score closer, just weren't able to get it done as the defense there for the Texans were able to shut down that offense. And we've seen the offense for the Texans really ball out with Nico Collins, the receiver, getting 8 catches for 135 yards and a touchdown in this one to help the Texans propel them to victory on Sunday Night Football. And then, guys, we're going to go over the Monday Night Football game last year on Tim Reynolds Show's Week 2 NFL review. And man, what an epic Monday night game did we have, man, as the Atlanta Falcons were able to pull off the upset against the Philadelphia Eagles 22-21 after Kirk Cousins was able to lead his team game down the field in under 2 minutes in a 2-minute drive to be able to get the game-winning touchdown pretty much. But when he scored the touchdown, they had to get the extra point in order to take the lead. And we would see the number 5 there, for the Atlanta Falcons, Drake would actually be the one to catch the touchdown, but he also got flagged for a personal foul, which means they would have to back up the extra point 15 yards, but Koo was able to knock it in and be able to give them the 1-point victory. This after the Philadelphia Eagles offense came up short, not really being clutch and not really being able to run the football out and run the clock out, as they had a big third down play with no timeouts left for the Atlanta Falcons just before that last drive for the Falcons and Kirk Cousins. And we see running back Saquon Barkley drop a wide open pass from Jalen Hurts on that crucial third down, and we would see shortly after this Philadelphia would get the field goal, but that obviously would not be enough as the defense gives up the game-winning touchdown there with just seconds to go in the game, as the Falcons get the victory over the Eagles on Monday Night Football to get their first win of the year, led by Bijan Robinson, who had 14 carries for 97 yards, and Kirk Cousins, who got that crucial touchdown at the very last drive to help them win the game. What a game for the Atlanta Falcons, and what a Week 2 slate from the NFL 2024 season. This has been Tim Reynolds Show with your Week 2 review. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for checking out the channel. Make sure you guys hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear what you thought about your team's performance or any questions that you guys have going forward. Thank you guys so much. Please remember to hit that like button and subscribe button. And thank you for checking out Tim Reynolds Show. If you made it to the end of this video, I want you to know that you're awesome and I appreciate you so much. Tim Reynolds Show would not be where it is today without you, and I'm growing, baby. I'm following my dream, and you guys are a part of it. For every single one of you that made it to the end of this video, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I respect you, I appreciate you, and you're a killer. Let's go, man. You rock. Let's go. This is Tim Reynolds Show. Peace out, everybody.